There's the world of academia, and it has a very, very unique culture, as you're well aware of. And then we come out into, you could call it the corporate, you could call it the industrial, not-for-profit government, just the outside of academic world, and it's a different culture. So you're moving from one culture to another. And if you look at let's say the archetypical PhD graduate, about 30 years of age, 25 years in school from K to 12 undergrad and doing a PhD, that's 82.5% of your life. So you kind of get a little bit encultured.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's shorten that up and say it's kind of cult-like, like you're really tight within that. By the way, no dispersions about that. I'm just characterizing it as it is.
Yes.
And then wanting or needing to move into another culture where the words are the same, but the dictionary is very different. And it's this transition that I've seen too many people stumble on. And so my mission is, how do I help these people make that transition, prepare for jobs outside of academia so that they can build a successful and rewarding career? But that's not all of it, Melissa. The one more step is society needs their knowledge, skills, and ability. But we need to get them in there where they can practice what has been learned and can deliver it to society.
Yeah.
But I'll just add one more thing to the introduction, then I'll turn it back to you. Is I come at that from the academic point of view, but I'm not purely an academic. So as you mentioned, I've been out, done a little bit out in the work world, in the business world, and out there, what I came face to face with is the travesty of the state of management and how we need to help grow the managers. And I'd like an effective manager that then can become a leader. But if you don't even get through the effective management, it's really tough to move into being a leader. And frequently, because of the advanced degrees, PhDs are tapped on the shoulder early to move into management, and they struggle and fail. So you're right. I'm trying to bring both halves of that together, and I'm having a bit of fun doing it.
Well, all the better. I mean, it doesn't need to be a slog. So it's exciting, actually, to be able to marry these two things that desperately need each other. That's the other thing. But the big thing that really strikes me with what you're doing is when I talk about empathy, right? We're talking about empathic leadership. What I talk about isn't so much this feeling version of empathy, that I feel what you're feeling, but rather that it's about connection and understanding. And you're bridging this gap of connecting and understanding with both groups to bring them together. So you're almost acting as an empathic intermediary, which I think is super cool.
Well, and empathy is really a core thread that runs through it all. And I look at empathy the way you are, which is you're looking at it, which is really the consideration of other and the understanding of other. So if you think about work as a construct, work is purely a human construct. And if you're not really clear on that, just ask your cat, and your cat will tell you all about this concept of work from a feline perspective.
Yeah.
And the work construct is really humans doing things for the benefit of other humans, either solving a problem or helping people make progress. That's almost a textbook definition of empathy. But also often, we don't see people behaving or acting like that. So we can go two directions on this, but first let me talk about out in the work world. Say the example of a manager, where these people are struggling, they're frightened, they're failing, and they're flailing. It's really hard to start to conceptualize and understand empathy because they're so focused on themselves because they're in such a bad place.
Yeah.
Moving back to the graduates. If you look at some of the work that Dave Logan has done on tribal leadership, and you look at the 5 stages of organizational development, academia is stage 3, where it's all about the lone wolf, the primary investigator. They're number 1. I'm great. You're not so great. And that's what graduate students come into. And they're in that environment where they're actually subjugated by the PI. I don't mean this in a negative sense, but just descriptively, there's the PI and they're learning. So they're more in stage 2. When they come out of academia, they come out alone, PhD graduation is probably the only human significant experience for which there is no rite of passage. So people graduate, complete their PhD at essentially any day of the year. So they don't do it as a group. It's not celebrated, and out they come. So they are in an environment where they have never really experienced or been cultured or learned that empathetic approach of others. But here's the thing, they all desire it, because what they're all desiring is that higher self-actualization that comes from doing something and being something for the service of others.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to get there. And it's a tough one.